one enormous pet peeve. That's all I do. I walk around the streets peeving. I don't like people walking slowly. I don't like people with backpacks. I don't like people with backpacks on their front. I don't like people with backpacks and water bottles. I don't like water bottles. What's the whole water bottle thing? Why do my children have to go to school with a water? They have to cart water across London. What's wrong with a drinking fountain? I mean, don't get me started. I don't like leaf blowers, roadworks with no people working on them. I'm pretty much Larry David.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Monday, November 18th, 2024. I'm Jay Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, Matapsha Hot Boy, Trey Kirby.
Heyo.
Hey, yo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. I was about to ask how you're feeling, JD, but I think you just gave the answer.
No, I'm good. It's,
Okay.
it's still working its way through.
Wow.
Turning
You sounded like Clint Eastwood.
Get off my lawn.
Shout out to everybody joining us live right now on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the show, podcast listeners. 5-star ratings and reviews. No wedgie to show you. I think it's our first weekend of the NBA season without a wedgie.
Sad.
So we can just jump right into the NBA weekend winners and losers. We got a whole bunch of winners. TK, get us started. Where do you want to go?
I'm giving a winner to Julius Randle.
Okay.
Or as the NBA's YouTube page called him, just Julius.
Oh, interesting.
Julius hits a buzzer-beating game winner. Awesome game, though, for Julius Randle in the win yesterday against the Suns. 35 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. He hit the step-back game winner. Perhaps a push-off, some will say. The NBA was getting into their bag with regards to that game winner shouldn't have counted this weekend.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll hear the same today about Julius Randle. Perhaps it was a flop nonetheless.
I thought there was
Quite
some
floppy.
flopping going on.
A little floppy dog?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it was nice, though. Michael Grady yelled out, "Oh, he's cold-blooded!" His first signature moment in a Timberwolves uniform. Yep. Absolutely right. A season high in points for Randle. Also tied his season high in assists and 3-pointers. We think it's going to stand, but I'm thinking about Julius Randle, and to me, he's a pair of jeans that came straight out of the dryer.
Go on.
Awkward fit.
Yeah.
But you can break him in.
Yeah.
And they'll be all right. And I kind of think that's happening for the Timberwolves right now. You can see the trust that he's building with Anthony Edwards in particular. I thought Phoenix was doing a pretty good job of taking the ball out of Ant's hands, especially in pick and rolls. So he was happy to just dump it off to Julius Randle. He can get downhill, either make a play for himself, make a play for others. They seem to be understanding each other a little bit here. Apparently, according to our John Krasinski, this was also the rare game that Julius Randle had both of his sons in attendance. His older son loves coming to the games, but he's got a 3-year-old who hates the noise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably pretty loud in there when Dad hit the game winner. He was happy he was there. He played well. And good stuff, I thought, from the Timberwolves, because they were down 8 with 4 minutes left in this one. Really picked up the defense. They started forcing a ton of turnovers and basically getting the ball out of Devin Booker's hands, because he had his best game of the season, had 44 in this one. Maybe a concern for the Timberwolves. They're 10th in offense right now. They're 10th in defense right now. I think that they would be happy with the offense sticking at number 10, but surely they want the defense to be a little bit better, because they gave up 44 to Booker in the win here. They also won on Friday, but they gave up 60 to De'Aaron Fox. So you don't like to give up 104 points to a couple of guards, but they got 2 wins out of it. So great stuff, I thought, from the Timberwolves to pull these ones out.
Yeah, it is a strange start for the Timberwolves season. Doesn't feel like they're right there, but the jeans analogy, maybe it's a good one.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards going to celebrate with Julius Randle. That was a long celebration. Maybe he feels like, whoa, this is like a pair of jeans. I mean, after that game winner, they celebrated once. Okay, and everybody celebrated. Then he went back for some more. He wanted a full handshake. Yeah. Then, Julius Randle go up to his family, give all those smooches and all the kisses. It was great, especially on that floor, that City Edition look with it feels like the ice breaking.
In the paint. Did you like that?
I like that.
Yeah, along with the jerseys that we've obviously
that's
seen.
the first time they pulled that out. I thought it looked
Yeah.
good. It has taken them a while to get, first of all, break out this new hardwood, but also just the fact that Karl Anthony Towns was traded, right as camp started, and so it has taken them, and they haven't looked incredibly right. But I guess Anthony Edwards just was super happy with Julius Randle because he had a quiet game to start with only 4 in the first half. Yeah. It felt different, and DiVincenzo also. I mean, he had a good little run in the last 4 games before this one. He scored 15 combined, and then he scored 15 in this one. It felt like there were some good things. The Jaden McDaniels is alive. That dunk on Plumlee was awesome. It's like this team hasn't fit perfectly well. That's for sure. But I don't know. It just feels like there is enough. There's enough love of those pants, I guess. There's enough gel to keep this thing going.
Enough love of those pants.
Enough love of those pants. They're breaking in a little bit, and I'm with you because I think when you look at the trade, like, it's easier to me for the Knicks to integrate Karl Anthony Towns because it's like he's just going to give you more space. He's going to catch and shoot, or he's going to catch and attack. You know what the defense is going to be, but guess what? The Knicks have been bad on defense for the last 3 years. Great on offense. That's the same. I think, though, that the changeover for the Timberwolves is so much more because of the way Randle plays, the way he holds onto the ball a lot longer than Towns does, and obviously the defensive stuff is big. So to get a win with him playing well, I think was nice. And you mentioned DiVincenzo, 5 threes, the most he's had this season. Did airball one in the fourth quarter, but it went right to the big under the basket, and he scored. And you could see DiVincenzo pointing to their bench. He's like, that was a pass. That was a pass. That was a pass. It wasn't, but that's how you do it. That's how you play it off.
Yeah, good to see him hit 5 threes there for Minnesota. All right, so Julius Randle. Just call him Julius.
Just Julius.
That's weird.
Julius.
That's odd. Because
He's a two-namer.
he's a two-namer, and I
maybe
think
a
if you're
Randle.
picking one, you go Randle.
Exactly.
Yeah, so just to call him Julius. Maybe
Just Julius.
could that be because Gladiator 2's coming out? Some sort of angle there? I don't know.
Is there a Julius?
I assume there is. Roman
There's a lot of
times.
Caesaring. I just watched the first one over the weekend, too. That's classic.
Wow.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's always good.
I'm not loving the reviews here for the second one.
I'll be
coming.
there.
So will I.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I once watched Gladiator 3 times in one day with my buddy Steve Orticello.
Wow.
Yeah, that was weird. But we did. Okay, let's go
That's
to.
definitely why they're calling him Julius, though. You're right. With the sheer numbers.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's
wait to
go to another winner of the weekend. Who you got, Tess?
I got the Houston Rockets.
Okay.
This team is 10-4. They've won 5 in a row. And would you think that if I told you that Fred VanVleet shooting 38% from the floor, 30% from 3 this season. Jalen Green, 38% from the floor, 33% from the 3. One of their 3-point shooters, Jabari Smith, not even shooting 30% from 3. They're still good enough. You guys just keep shooting because Alperen Sengun can get some room, and he's had a great bounce back from his injury. They're looking good there. And also, you're going to have a good game like Jabari Smith did on Friday versus the Clippers. 5 threes, dunks. He had 19 in the first half, 28 to lead the team, and Jalen Green had 8. Doesn't matter. They had 6 players in double figures in this game. Everybody contributes. This team is deep. Tari Eason coming off the bench, 6 straight in double figures. They got more depth than depth pesh mode. I couldn't think of a good.
What?
Yeah.
Say it again. Try it again.
Depth pesh mode.
Oh, there it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Well, listen. You relax, man. You don't got to call out the way
Well,
I
I just was
mispronounced
confused
something.
on it.
I couldn't pronounce it because it was so bad.
Yeah.
There's no alliteration. There's no form. But anyway, this team is so freaking deep. You look at them in that game, and then against the Bulls, they just spanked. No problem.
Hey, it was close for a quarter.
Yeah, it was. But they just keep bringing guys off the bench. Reed Shepard, Rook had his career high, 12 points. They had 14 guys score in this game against the Chicago Bulls. They keep going. You know, you squint, and you can think that this team, just like around the All-Star break last year, there was some rumors. They package a few players together. They get one superstar. They're one superstar away from being a good team. And when you see guys like Sengun, 5th and 6th career triple-double this weekend. They won by 21 and 36. You can see that. Why they're just so freaking deep. They're 10-4, 3rd in the West. They've got a plus 8.5 net differential. That's 5th in the NBA, only behind the Celtics and the Cavs and the Thunder and the Warriors. So their defense is just so good. So good. You know, top 3 right now. They don't have that a rolling offense, but again, I think it is a good idea for what Ime Udoka is doing. Just keep shooting the threes to give our guys like Sengun, also Amen Thompson coming off the bench, some space down there. And it works well. They're middle of the pack offensively, but they are just solid. And they have a legitimate shot at winning their NBA Cup group or finishing second and advancing because they beat the Clippers. That was their first game this past weekend.
Friday.
Next is Portland. They can do that. Portland's hot. Portland beat Minnesota.
Yeah.
So Minnesota is 0-1 in the NBA Cup standings. And then still a tough group. Sacramento is the last one. So they could finish first. They could finish second. But anyway, we talked about it when the NBA Cup was announced. The Houston Rockets, kind of that team you want to be there, like the Pacers of last year, a young team. That makes it fun. So there's a real chance that they'll be there when it comes to elimination time.
The Houston Rockets' depth, deeper than Deep Space Nine. That maybe works, right?
Okay.
Star Trek. I was trying to
Star
think
Trek,
something.
yeah.
Space, rockets,
Yeah, rocket space.
Depeche Mode is just tough to say.
Depeche Mode.
Yeah, it's not good, and it's not doesn't really
Doesn't
apply.
make any. Yeah. What's the link between Houston and Depeche Mode? I don't know.
It starts with DEP.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Rockets. I love this. I love to see a team that has like people talking about them coming into the season and then them living up to that, at least to start here with the 10-4 record. Is that what you said? That's
man.
good to see. Good to see. And yeah, defensively they have an identity, and then they do have all these pieces that on any night you can have Jalen Green being the hero, Van Vliet bouncing back, Amen Thompson, the guys off the bench like Tari Eason, Şengün obviously sort of their star guy. It's great. It's great to see.
Would you say Şengün is their own personal Jesus? I literally only know 2 Depeche Mode songs off the top of my head, but the fact that they're
I know very little as well.
third in defense with Şengün playing, I think is pretty impressive. The guy's not known as a defender.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the top 10 on the roster for the Rockets, he's probably their 10th best guy as a defender, but he's obviously a hub offensively, the goon hub, they may call him, the way people circle around him, and he's obviously their biggest offensive player, but to be a top 5 defense with a guy limited athleticism, you don't see that from the Nuggets. They're not a top 5 defense with a similar style player. You definitely don't see that from the Kings, another similar style player. Usually, if you're slow-footed and can't jump, you're going to have a bad defensive team if that's your center. But they've got enough athletes in literally every other position that they can survive it with the guy at the 5. Like Cam Whitmore doesn't even play for this team, and he's pretty solid. So you have to wonder, will they make a trade later on if they're trying to get better for like a little bit of a playoff run, or do they just kind of roll with it the way the Thunder did last year and say, let's see how all of our young guys do in their first playoff situation, their first scenarios there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they have Alperen Şengün playing his best defense. There's no doubt about that. Ime Udoka's got that playing. Even Reed Shepherd, who's not a defender from what I know, even the Houston broadcasters said the other night, whoa, Reed Shepherd playing better defense than he has all season. Right. And you think, Rook would come out and play hard, but I think Ime Udoka has just got it into these guys to play hard. That's their team.
Well, they got enough guys, so you better play hard defensively, or there won't be any minutes for you.
Yeah,
is the other part of the equation, and
sure.
that's sort of how Udoka coaches as well.
Yeah.
All right, Rockets, a winner of the weekend. My turn next. Star Fox, De'Aaron Fox had himself a weekend. You sort of already alluded to it there, TK. He went on a 2-game stretch that we've rarely seen in NBA history. In an overtime loss to the Wolves on Friday night, Fox set the Kings franchise record for points with a career-high 60. Shot 22 of 35, 6 of 10 from deep. He was 10 of 11 at the free throw line. He had 20 in the fourth quarter to erase a huge deficit to get the game into overtime, where he also contributed, I believe, 6 points, but the Wolves took care of business. So it was a loss. That sort of sucks. Well, the very next night, Fox played the Jazz at home without Sabonis, without DeMar DeRozan, without Malik Monk, and he scored 49 points. 16 of 30 shooting, 3 of 4 from deep, 14 of 19 at the line. He actually could have cracked or should have cracked 50 points in that game. He missed like 4 free throws in the fourth quarter. But anyway, 60 on one night, 49 the next. His 109 points over the Friday and Saturday are the second most ever over 2 consecutive days in the last 50 seasons, trailing only Kobe's 110 points, going back-to-back in March 2007. That was a part of that stretch where Kobe went bonkers, where he scored 65, 50, 60, and then 50. That was a good run from Kobe that year. But yeah, these are the back-to-back. So along with Kobe, Fox joins Wilt Chamberlain as the only players to total 109 or more points over a 2-day span in NBA history. Wilt did it 15 times. In fact, Wilt did it 10 times in one season. In fact, one part of that season, Wilt went back to back to back, scoring like 71 and then another 60 plus and then a 55. They played back to back to back.
That
Way
last
back in the
team was
day.
probably like, we did a good job out there.
Yeah. It was like,
Couple
holy
under
crap,
60?
we kept him to 55. Good job, boys. So anyway, De'Aaron Fox, how could he not get a winner of the weekend? Just feeling it, and had to, obviously, in that Jazz game, too. They needed all those points, all 49 of them.
Yeah, the first game against the Wolves, he outscored the Wolves in that fourth quarter, 2017. No big deal. But Anthony Edwards was killer in overtime. He was fantastic. And Anthony Edwards slowed a little bit down in his 2 games because he was awesome. And De'Aaron Fox obviously did not. That's hard to do. 2 days, apparently.
48 hours?
Yeah, well, no, it was like...
No.
like 27 hours,
30,
basically.
Yeah, wow.
Which is nuts. A lot of points for 27 hours, and at least one of them came in victory there over the Utah Jazz.
Yeah. He was a little disappointed that his 60 burger didn't get him a win. Sure.
Yeah,
He did.
for
he
sure.
was disappointed.
But franchise record now. Who had it?
Is it
DeRozan?
Twyman?
Cousins?
I think.
Sorry, I meant DeMarcus,
Yeah, I
not
think it's
DeRozan.
Cousins.
Yeah, I think it was Cousins. Yeah.
What do you mean? 60?
No, I think Cousins had the Kings franchise record.
Oh, I thought
high
it-
50s, I assume.
I thought it was. He had a 55. I think it was a Jake Twyman.
Oh, was it a Twyman?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
one of those.
Jake Twyman.
Didn't you bring it up a couple weeks ago when De'Aaron Fox had his 50 spots? All the Kings and Cincinnati Royals that have ever hit 50. Twyman was one of them. Oscar Robertson was one of them.
I heard him say
DeMarcus.
Cousins on the broadcast, but I don't
But
know
maybe
if
that's a Sacramento
that
part.
could be. That could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
They also apparently got
Twyman.
rid of their second mascot, I guess, for their other jerseys. The Kings did. You see, Roy Al, that creepy looking
rid
basketball
of him?
mascot. Apparently, he's already gone. Yeah.
Fox didn't like
Seriously,
him.
they got rid of him that fast?
Well, yeah. I don't know if that was the entire bit. You know what I mean, or not.
De'Aaron Fox came out and said, "I don't like him."
Well, yeah, and then Slamson, their actual Kings mascot, they met each other. The creepy mascot was wearing the new jersey, and then it cut to the Roy Al being shipped back to Cincinnati, and then Slamson wearing the City Edition jerseys. So it was like, he's out of here.
Okay.
So he was around for 2 days.
Well, cool. I'm glad that they went to the extra effort to do that, because that was a crazy looking guy.
It's amazing.
I like all the people that put him on like the front of a Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
He did have a face reminiscent of that, and it's good because that was a creepy looking mascot.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he's gone, because it harkens back to the days of Pierre the Pelican, right? Where like we brought in a weird mascot and it just can't stay around. Those ones weren't on purpose, nor was the Brooklyn Knight once upon a time. But sometimes you see something so bad you got to get rid of it. Now I'm a little cynical. They did this on purpose.
Well, no, I don't know. Like, I think
Talked myself out of
you
it.
might be right. They're like, okay, we'll make a secondary mascot for the City Edition jerseys. He's a throwback to the guy on the shorts, obviously. Blah blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
To get rid
But
of him.
then the outcry from Kings fans.
It's
Like,
too crazy.
like they showed him in the arena on what night was it? I guess it was the night where they played
Friday,
the Jazz.
probably.
Or Friday, yeah. They booed him. Like hardcore booed him.
That's cool. That's awesome.
But then they were already playing the video where he was then shipped away. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they knew he was going to get booed.
We got to get Roy on the show.
Yeah.
Did they set you up?
I think De'Aaron Fox said, "I don't like him." They got rid of him. That's another 2-day
Well, yeah.
record for De'Aaron Fox.
He's like,
as
what?
soon as he
What?
said
He
it,
literally was like, what the F?
yeah,
What is that?
see ya, bud.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Fox
Hey
the winner.
man, great call. Jack Twyman, Kings record, but he was a Cincinnati guy.
There you go.
DeMarcus Cousins, Sacramento Kings.
There we go. We got there. We got
okay.
there in the end. Now it belongs to Fox, both of them.
That's right.
Do a barrel roll. Okay, NBA weekend winners. Let's keep it going. Another round. Who you got?
Oh, is it me?
Yeah.
Portland Trailblazers. They're a winner of the weekend. They only played once. That's fine. They beat the Hawks last night. Finished off a 3-0 week, though, which is what I'm giving them the winners of the weekend, maybe the winners of last week. I was impressed by the Trailblazers. In particular, Shaedon Sharpe has had an awesome week. He had 32, a couple of rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals against the Hawks. Scored 11 points, the last 11 for the Blazers to close this one out. Those came in the last 2 minutes against the Hawks. He followed that, or prior to that, he had 33, 6, and an assist against the Timberwolves in the win. Anthony Simons is out with an illness, so there are shots to be had. There is ball handling to be had for the Trailblazers, and Sharpe came in, seized the opportunity. Super impressive. Another guy, Donovan Clingan, getting some starts here. DeAndre Ayton has a finger injury, so 3 starts for Clingan. I looked him up on Basketball Reference. Apparently his name is Donovan John Clingan. Don John Clingan?
Don John. Wow.
Cool. Don John Clingan. They won all 3 of his starts. He really provides a presence inside. He had that 8-block game against the Timberwolves and Rudy Gobert. But with Clingan on the court, with Don John on the court, 103 points per 100 possessions for the Blazers. That would be top 5. Prior to this week, when he was off the court, 116 points per 100 possessions for the Trailblazers. That would be bottom 5. They haven't been a good defensive team since Chauncey Billups has been the coach.
No.
This is year 4 for him. They've been a bottom 10 defense every single season. They're like 15th right now after 3 games of Clingan being the main guy. Robert Williams III has looked really solid off the bench. They got Abdia coming off the bench, which seems weird after pulling the trade for him. But Toumani Camara, that guy's also a really solid defender. He really took Trae Young out of the game, I thought, against the Hawks. At one point, he picked his pocket, and you had Lamar heard barking on the broadcast after the steal. Great stuff. It just looks like there's a little bit of an identity for the Trailblazers with Klingon starting, with Williams coming off the bench. Clearly, there's a guy I'm not mentioning who is not playing, and it feels like the team has changed instantly. Maybe part of it is Simons being out as well, if we're being honest. Nonetheless, I don't think Simons is a long-termer for the Blazers.
Yeah.
I don't think Ayton is a long-termer for the Blazers. So why not turn everything over to a guy like Klingon as the starter? Scoot had 10 assists in the win against the Hawks. He's not scoring very well, but he's playing at his own speed rather than just trying to be the fastest guy out there, because he's not the fastest guy anymore. He's got a little bit more craft to him. So good stuff for the Blazers to hold off the Hawks. Not the greatest win. They almost blew it, but they didn't blow it because Sharpe was hitting everything.
And last weekend, the Blazers lost by like a combined 70 points. And then that was when Billups like called the team out. And
Wake
he's
up,
like,
losers.
Yeah, he's like, if you go to sleep, you're a loser. Like, you should be like really thinking about this loss. And they've come back and won their last three after those comments, Taz.
Yeah.
Or he called them losers if you go to sleep. So they've just been staying up all night.
They've been
playing video games and
freaking out,
having pop or something like that. So it worked.
It worked, and it was funny seeing Billups on the sideline because Shaedon Sharpe almost blew it. He made a mistake there when they're up one. He ran a beautiful inbound play for Shaedon Sharpe just to go dunk it. He was ahead of everybody, but he slowed down for some reason and got fouled. Billups literally turned around to the bench and was just wondering, what the fuck are you doing? You could read his lips quite easily. What are you doing? But it worked out for the Blazers to play the young guys. As you go along, the roster. I like to compare it to the Hawks that they just beat a little bit. They're starting Zachary Reese-Shea. DeAndre Hunter came back. Coming off the bench for one game. Anyways, Hunter got hurt again. But that happens. Just a quickie run for DeAndre Hunter there. But yeah, it was weird to see, speaking of the guys that are playing extremely well for the Hawks, primarily Dyson Daniels plays well, but he had a terrible giveaway. It was just a bad play in the last minute there. It was a close game down the wire, but as you mentioned, Toumani Camara was awesome against Trae Young.
Yeah.
He is the Matisse Thybulle that they never had. I mean, he's way better than him. He's good, and he can shoot the three, but he's not an offensive player, but he's a really good defensive player.
Yeah. And Dyson Daniels' streak of, half a dozen steals, at least in a game, snapped against the Blazers here. I think he only had 2 there.
Just 2.
In the latest game. So that streak is over. Alvin Robertson sleeps well at night, knowing his streak.
Why didn't they have Daniels guarding Shaedon Sharpe when he was going off?
I'm not sure.
That didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Yep.
It was bad stuff for our guy Veet and Dyson. The last 2 minutes for them were not pretty.
No.
Yeah.
Taz, who do you have for another winner?
I'm giving Jayson Tatum a winner because versus the Raptors on Saturday, he hit a game winner. It's not something that Jayson Tatum does very often. He had missed his 10 straight shots with a chance to either tie or take the lead in the final 5 seconds or the fourth quarter or overtime. He didn't hit a game winner or a game tire since February 2023, so he didn't hit one during the championship year. It's been a while. Shout out to our man, the kid, Jay King, for that set. It's been a long time. And at the end of this game against the Raptors, at the end of the fourth quarter, he had a chance to hit a game winner. Oh boy, it missed very bad. He hit the backboard. Just hit the backboard. It was a wide open mid-range shot where the defender fell and he missed. So then at the end of overtime, the play was for Jaylen Brown to hit a game winner. But Jaylen Brown also went down. David Mitchell ran into him, so Jayson Tatum had the ball outside the three-point line, did a little shake, and he hit a 3-ball in the face of Ochai Agbaji.
He did a little shake?
Oh, yeah, there was a travel,
He
for
did
sure.
a whole lot of shaking.
Yeah, the last 2-minute report said Jayson Tatum traveled.
Yes.
And it was a quick one.
They also said a foul should have been called on the Jaylen Brown getting tossed out.
Jaylen Brown was hit.
So I guess they even out.
Yeah, it was a weird one. But either way, it's good for him just to hit a game winner.
Yeah.
Just because it has been a long time. And after you chuck one or you really miss, to try again on a play that was for Jaylen Brown. It's a winner for him. They keep on just allowing teams to score in the paint over and over and over again. Jakob Poeltl had 36 in this baby. Oh, 35, excuse me. He was 16 of 19. Push shot after push shot after push shot. They call a floater. I mean, whatever you want to call it. He just kept doing that. And Jaylen Brown said after the game, he said the last thing we wanted to do is go into double overtime against the Toronto Raptors. Jaylen Brown's just cutthroat, just really pulling it, man. He doesn't care. He'll say whatever he's got to say. Yeah, okay. Jakob Poeltl had a good game. As they were apparently, our man Jay King heard them in the locker room saying, "What the Jakob Poeltl? What's he doing out there? How's he doing that?" And they were talking about that. They gave up 78 points at the paint to Toronto. It's a freaking lot. And they did that. They had a bad game in terms of points in the paint against the Hawks in their first NBA Cup game, which they lost last week as well. 68 points to the Hawks. It happens to the Celtics team. I guess that's where they missed Kristaps Porzingis a little bit, just height-wise. Because they are just allowing teams to shoot whatever. But just to shout out our man Jakob Poeltl and
Jakob
the reps.
Poeltl, he's available. Go get him.
I guess so, yeah.
Title contenders. Go get yourself either a Vucevic or a Poeltl. Right
if you want to be disappointed, do it.
Exactly. But he's playing incredible. I saw Kelly Dwyer, tongue-in-cheek, saying the greatest play in the NBA right now is an R.J. Barrett to Jakob Poeltl. Nobody can stop it. They're clicking.
They're the two best players that are playing a lot.
Absolutely. Any thoughts on Tatum's little happy dance into the game winner or that game or how the Celtics are playing here?
Well, I mean, the way Tass is laying it out, the guy hadn't hit a game winner in almost 2 years. Stop dribbling. That's the key. You get 4 steps, you can get by anybody to get a good look. The Celtics are doing well this season, but they're not locked in and they are not engaged in this season. You hear it with every Jaylen Brown quote. He's basically saying, we're doing the bare minimum this regular season. We'll turn it on later on in the playoffs. They had the quote about, we're going to get Sam Hauser going against the Pistons, and that's why their defense is just okay. They gave up 78 points in the paint because they only gave up 23 three-point attempts. They say the only way the Raptors are going to beat us, a hot three-point shooting night. They weren't able to do it, so the Celtics hit all their threes, and it paid off in the long run. It's going to be tough to tell what the Celtics really look like until they get Porzingis back, and that's not going to be till the second half of the season, so they might hang in the 2 seed here with the Cavs running away with things. Maybe they'll be able to make a run in the second half of the season, but Cleveland might be far enough ahead at that point that we're talking about a 2-seed Boston Celtics. Whoa, could they do it? Yeah, they could.
Right. Well, that's why I'm fascinated for Tuesday night's game, to see if the Celtics get up for that one against Cleveland in not only an NBA Cup game to keep their chances alive to advance to the knockout round for the Celtics, but to see if they can snap the Cavaliers streak. And that pivots perfectly into my winner, which is the Cavs becoming the 4th team in NBA history to start 15-0. 2 more wins for Cleveland over the weekend. Friday night, it was the Donovan Mitchell show, 37 points. They crushed the Bulls there in that one, NBA Cup opener for those teams. Just dominant victory from Cleveland. And after the final buzzer, I don't know if you saw this, Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Jared Allen, they're all celebrating, dancing on the court with a giant green frog, which has quickly become their impromptu mascot. We are living in the days of second mascots. But this is an impromptu one. This is like a Cavs fan outside in a giant green inflatable frog costume that they then put the Cleveland Cavaliers mascot out on the floor. But the photos look amazing. Just dancing with this inflatable frog when they went to 14-0. But then on Sunday, this is the more impressive win because there's no Donovan Mitchell. You have Ty Jerome starting in place for him. Career high 24 points. Garland goes for 25, and they beat the Hornets. And again, the 4th team ever to start 15-0. The Warriors in 2016, the Rockets in 94, and who can forget the Washington Capitals in 1949. Oh. Al Iafrate, what was his name?
Yeah. He was playing in 49. That was a good time.
That's a tough name to say. How do you say his name? Al
Iafrate.
Iafrate.
You afraid? I
am afraid to say his name. Al Iafrate. But anyway, yeah, Garland is just, it's been awesome. And they just keep taking turns. If Mitchell's in there, he can take over, and Garland was the one in the second game there. He's upped his per game scoring to 21.1. His shooting 53%, 3-ball 46%. He that last year sucked for him with all the injuries and then trying to get integrated with Donovan Mitchell. It's this is the Garland from 2 years prior, really.
Yeah, and as Steve Kerr said earlier when he was talking about Kenny Atkinson, who took over at the Cleveland Cavaliers, he said, this is just like me when I took over the Warriors in 14-15. Good players, but then as soon as I came in, I just adapted a new offense. I said, hey, let's do this. And that's what Kenny Atkinson is kind of doing. And so, yes, we talk about the Boston Celtics in the 2 seed. You start to think of the old saying that repeating is hard. And, when you got I'm not going to say the Cavs are going to knock them off, but there's obviously more of a hunger in one team than there is in the other. So that plays a part. And to be determined. If I sometimes forget, Steve Kerr just immediately won a championship in 14-15, and they're 67-15. Like I don't think they're that good because I guess because they weren't that memorable of a championship team. Obviously, the dynasty and all that, but that team in particular just doesn't stand out to me as a 67
well, because then it leveled
team.
up even more, and maybe that's why it gets so overlooked.
In the playoffs, they're down 2-1 to the Grizzlies. Like it didn't seem like they were gonna roll. Obviously, they did. But anyway.
Something to watch. The Cavs did sustain 2 injuries on Sunday that could come into play in Tuesday's game against the Celtics there. Okoro and Dean Wade both exited with left ankle sprains. And with some of those guys going out, they talked about it in the victory over the Hornets. They went to zone defense like a lot in the second half, in the fourth quarter, and it was working. Apparently, Max Strus was the one like telling everyone where to go. He wasn't out there. He was like Coach Strus because he's played a lot of zone back in his Heat days, and I guess he was like directing them. They gave him a lot of like credit for like, oh yeah, Strus was just telling us where to go. Coach Max, Coach Strus, I don't know what you want to go with. But anyway, that worked. But I do hope the Celtics, to circle back to that, like, you know, this Tuesday night game, it feels like there's a little extra juice to it.
Sure.
You would assume they're going to want to be the team to snap it. They are the defending champs. They are still chasing them in the standings. Like, I don't know. Like, I get why they don't have a lot of like, hey boys, let's go play hard for 48 minutes every night, because they don't really need to, the Celtics. But I wouldn't see why they wouldn't here tomorrow night.
Should be an awesome game.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it plays out. If the Celtics are like all in on trying to pull off a win, because I do feel like the Cavs are all in on trying to keep their streak going, the way they're pulling out some of these in the fourth quarters, like by the skin of their teeth. Getting the win on Saturday was huge on the second night of a back-to-back with guys out. Like Ty Jerome was leading the way.
Yeah.
He might have to be the new best backup point guard in the NBA.
Jeez.
I know he got to start, but Tyus Jones starts now. DeLon Wright, he's old.
Yep.
There's an opportunity there for somebody to be the best backup point guard in the NBA. You think it's a compliment, is it? I don't know. But Ty Jerome's having an awesome season, 10 points per game. He had, 24 in the win against the Hornets, shooting 60% from the field, 54 from 3. It probably won't maintain for the entirety of the season. And honestly, Peyton Pritchard is probably the best backup point guard in the NBA. But I've been impressed with Ty Jerome, and I love to see that because he's a guy that like will have a great summer run playing in like those Black Ops Chris Brinkley runs.
Yeah.
And you're like, who is this guy killing?
Right.
But it somehow actually translates, and man, he is slow. This is a slow man. He plays like a Kyle Anderson speed, and it works.
Yeah, for him it does. What do you think of the Cavs City Edition jerseys and court? I know we have here for everybody on YouTube, with the baby blue and the land. Fan or not?
I love baby blue.
Yeah.
But this doesn't look Cavs-y to me. And I said it before the show, Skeets. It kind of looks like somebody just spilled coffee across the court.
Yeah, I guess that's the river, is it?
That's the river.
Yeah. It just looks like a coffee stand. Yeah, it's true. Tass, were you a fan of this?
Yeah, I can't go hardcore fan.
Yeah.
Also, the baby blue, will it ever work with the Cavs? They keep trying pushing it a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit more. It's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. It's hard to see that. At the same time, I am a lover of baby blue, so it's not like I hate it. We've already gone through the NBA Cup additions, like to the court specifically. Like forget about the keys and forget about the center court, like all the other stuff. It's always a lot, and it doesn't feel like you need it. It feels like it's just kind of standing there. But anyway, there's a river, I guess.
There's a river
on
going
the court.
through. There's a coffee stain going through the court. Some other winners just quickly here. James Harden passed Ray Allen for second on the NBA's all-time three-pointers list Sunday. Harden now has 2,975 career three-pointers, so he moved just past Ray Allen, who has 2 less. Steph Curry, obviously, is out in front at 3,782, and they play tonight. We got Warriors-Clippers.
Didn't Harden say he's like, Steph doesn't count.
Yeah.
I consider myself number 1.
He's like, I consider myself number 1 because
awesome.
Curry's not fair. Yeah, you're not catching Steph Curry at this point. We had the Knicks sweeping their 2-game homestand versus the Nets. Took care of business in both of them, which is always tough to do, as we talk about a lot here on the show, to beat the same team back-to-back twice there. Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges were the stars, the heroes of Game 1. Brunson, the game-winning shot. Bridges, the game-saving block on the other end. And then on Sunday, the Detroit Pistons notched their 7th win this season, and they poked fun at someone who trolled them during the dark days of last year. In the 23-24 campaign, the Pistons set the record for the most consecutive losses in a single season, and their loss to the Celtics extended that record to 28. But you might remember that defeat came even though Detroit was leading at 19 points at halftime. Boston came back to win in overtime, but a screenshot of the Pistons' halftime advantage went viral during the game and prompted a post on Twitter from Kyle Kuzma with the caption, "At this point, it's like, don't be that team." So he was pointing out, like, nobody wants to be the team to lose to the lowly Detroit Pistons. And, you know, the Celtics didn't that night. Well, the Pistons remembered. They returned the favor after defeating Kuzma and the Wizards over the weekend, 124-104, with a funny caption. The don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, sighs. At this point, it's like, don't be that team. And there you go, the final. So good stuff from the Detroit Pistons social media team. I always wonder with that stuff, like, do they put it in a calendar? Like when it happens last year, someone's like, hey, remember when we play the Wizards? Make note of it at least. Put it somewhere. Don't be like that team.
They got to do something. At the very least, there's somebody sitting in these production meetings when the schedule drops. They're like, when's the Wizards game?
Yeah.
I'll remember.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Kev.
Yeah. So there you go. Detroit Pistons, man. They are one game under 500. They have not been 500 or better 16 games into a season since 2018. They were like 13-7 when they started that year. That was a long time ago at this point. So they're getting close to being 500. And they're taking. I like to see them beating these bad teams. They're like sort of proving that, hey, we're not the worst. That we are a little bit better than some of these other. You know, they beat the Raptors on Friday night. They beat the Wizards here. So you know, they're proving that they're maybe a step above those teams at least, and maybe knocking on a play-in.
They're showing it. They're showing it.
They're showing it. They are showing it.
I forget the last time they had a 3-game win streak, but it's been a while, and they got a chance because they've won 2 straight, and they play the Bulls tonight. They didn't have a 3-game win streak all last season. Didn't have one in 22-23 either. So they had their last 3-game win streak was April 3rd, 2022.
Sounds like you're saying JB Bickerstaff might be throwing a pizza party in the Little Caesars Arena. Pizza.
And ready's, hot and ready's.
If they can win a third, we will find out.
Pizza party.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, another sort of winner of the weekend that we had to include. Inside the NBA, TNT's longtime basketball studio show will appear on ABC and ESPN as the NBA and Warner Brothers Discovery have reportedly settled their months-long lawsuit. So Ernie, Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny will remain with the show. It's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be on, ABC probably too. That'll be weird, but it will still be made here, Tass, in Atlanta. Still the same production team. So, ESPN not messing with it too much. It'll just be airing as part of those games when we get to that next season. So I assume, like many out there, you're like, oh, this was good news. This is a winner of the weekend. It will continue.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy for everybody who works on that show and who produces it and makes it happen. It will be odd to see them on the same standard night. Like it's going to be like a Thursday night thing. It's not like they're taking over Wednesdays that ESPN used to have or Fridays that used to have.
Oh, wait, how do you know that? I assume that's exactly what will happen. I thought they'll go to Wednesdays or Saturdays when it gets to ABC when we get to the second half of the season, that they'll just be a part of the key marquee games.
Oh, I didn't think that at all. I thought the NBA countdown would remain the same. And then
I don't think
here come
so.
the boys.
Let's hear it for the boys.
Well, if it's going to air on ESPN and ABC, though, wouldn't it air on those nights that they have the games, the big games, on that network? I would think. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
They'll be on when they have the games.
Yeah.
I agree.
But they're not going to be on Thursday nights because I don't think they have them on Thursday nights.
Anyway,
it's probably like a Peacock or a Amazon or something.
Jalen Rose.
It was Amazon was the plan. Because after football ended, that's when Amazon took over. Anyways, it gets complicated.
Right. But they won't be airing on Amazon is my point. These guys are going to be on ESPN. They're going to be on ABC.
Yeah, these guys are not going to be on Amazon.
They're not. Any thoughts on this?
It's going to be interesting to see Chuck deciding who to throw shots at.
Okay.
Because he's thrown shots at ESPN a lot.
Oh, yeah.
In his career with TNT, he's also thrown shots at David Zaslav. So now he's going to somehow be working for both while working for neither. Does that put a leash on him? I don't know. Yeah, right.
No way.
But like, are you going to be taking shots at ESPN's coverage of basketball when you're on ESPN's coverage of basketball?
Right. Yeah, they will. Yes.
It's gonna be awesome, man. It's just gonna be interesting to see Barkley with a new set of bosses, sort of, but not really.
Yeah. So Inside the NBA is expected to air during key moments on the league's calendar. We're talking opening night, Christmas Day, the playoffs, the NBA Finals. Like this is obviously the marquee studio show. So why wouldn't they be
Christmas
featuring?
Day?
That's what it says in the write-up. Yeah, I know.
That was the number one reason Barkley never wanted to work for ESPN was that he had to work too much, and now he's gonna be working on Christmas.
Well, it's interesting you say that.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is the one concern that everybody had immediately seeing this news is like, oh God, like, are the ESPN bosses, are they going to ruin this, right? Are they going to screw up with the chemistry or what they can say or what they can't say? By all accounts, no, it's still TNT Sports, it's still Warner Brothers, whatever, it's still running this whole thing. But yeah, how far can they push it, right? To the point where Barkley's like ripping on the games or ripping on ESPN or all that, where they then step in and say, hey, you can't say that. But I don't know. I don't think you can put a leash on these guys.
He'll just retire again.
Oh, remember when Barkley retired during the summer? Or at the end of last season, wasn't it? Wasn't he like on NBA TV? He's like, guys, my last show. I'm retiring. And everybody's
you're
like,
right.
And everybody's like, no, you're not.
Didn't he say next year's is last season?
Or was it that?
Yeah, because this year
I guess
is
that
his
makes more
last.
sense. Well, so much for that.
He always does that.
Yeah, right.
It's Charles.
TNT Sports will receive global rights outside of the United States for Inside the NBA, House of Highlights, and Bleacher Report, too, which is a pretty good part of the deal there for WBD. And I think Turner keeping NBA TV, NBA.com, that part of the equation as well, which is good news, again, for people that we all know here that work in Atlanta in those studios. The content keeps coming. All right, let us know what you think. Are you concerned at all with Inside eventually going to ABC and ESPN? Let's do some NBA weekend losers. Trey, who's your big loser?
I got to give a loser to the No-Jokic Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic missed both games for the Nuggets this weekend. He's out for personal reasons. The team said no big deal, but the Nuggets went 0-2 and they looked pretty bad in both of their losses. Scored only 94 on Friday against the Pelicans, 90 yesterday against the Grizzlies. Great for Nikola Jokic's MVP case, because when he is off the court, the Nuggets score 87 points per 100 possessions. When he's on the court, 125 points per 100 possessions. And if you are a Nuggets fan, you got to be a little concerned with Jamal Murray at this point. Not a good weekend for him. 16 points on 6 of 16 shooting against the Pelicans. 13 points on 6 of 15 shooting with 6 turnovers against the Grizzlies, who are also super shorthanded and had no problem against the Nuggets. Murray is averaging the second fewest points. The fewest points since his second year in the league, 17 points per game. He's shooting 40% from the field, 30% from three. Those are both the lowest in his career. His usage is way down. They're going to get Nikola Jokic back soon. They look great when he's on the court. They're maybe the best offense in the league when he's on the court, even though they lost shooting in KCP. Doesn't really matter, but they need Jamal Murray to get back to regular season Jamal Murray. Like, I don't even want to see playoff Murray. I just want to see a guy that can confidently score 20 points a game, can actually get around people, looks like he knows where his shots are coming from, because everything looks completely discombobulated for him. It's usually pretty easy for Murray playing off of Jokic. And throughout his career, he's struggled to carry the Nuggets when Jokic is on the bench, but it's particularly exacerbated right now. I was worried that it was just a bad summer for him, right?
Yeah.
Like, the playoffs didn't go good. We knew he was injured. Team Canada didn't go great. He was coming off an injury, didn't necessarily have the chemistry there because he hasn't played with them for a long time. I thought he would be better for the Nuggets this year, and it has not been the case. He's a slow starter in his career. You go back and look at his splits. The percentages are always the worst in October and November, so by the end of the season, surely Murray is back to himself, but they look bad without Jokic out there. They look like one of the worst teams in the league, and it looks like they got nobody that can score when this guy's supposed to be at least a decent offensive player.
Yeah, he's also catching some heat this weekend for spending the night off in between the games, flying to New York for the UFC event. And if you're going to do that, especially when your superstar player Jokic isn't playing in those games, because I think his wife gave birth to their second child, you better win, or at the very least, you better play well. Otherwise, people are going to be like, what the hell are you doing, man? Flying cross country here. So, yeah, he's a huge MMA fan. He had to be there.
Had to be
there for John Jones picking up the victory. But, yeah, it doesn't look good when you can't back it up. And he did not play well this weekend, nor has he started well at all. Any thoughts there on the Nugs?
It's unfortunate that they weren't working on the other end either. They really didn't look like they really wanted to beat the Grizzlies. They didn't have the effort there. Julian Strother, second-year player, said after the game, we've kind of had a helpless energy out there. When a second-year player says that about this championship team a mere 2 years ago, it just seems like it's crumbling a little bit. They bounced back after that very terrible start, and they had those 5 wins in a row. Things were looking all right, and obviously they ain't going to win anything without Jokic.
No,
we all know that. But the integrity of this team, where is it? It's just quite not there against a couple teams that the New Orleans Pelicans that they lost to, the first
against
one primarily.
Teams they should beat with or without Jokic, or at least be more competitive.
Because when you're playing the Pelicans without a bunch of their starters, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Sure, you don't have Jokic. You also don't have Aaron Gordon, which is still a primary problem with who they are, their glue, their mentality. They need him. He's extremely important to this team. But, some scrappiness, some fight.
Yeah, they got killed on the glass in both of these games. Part of that is Jokic, part of it is Gordon, and part of it is not playing really hard. Nuggets, they look great, though, when Jokic plays. Come back soon, please.
I think you should be back soon, I believe. All right, Tass, who do you have for an NBA weekend loser?
Watching the end of the Hornets and the Bucks game was a little hard. So the Hornets are down 1. Giannis goes to guard LaMelo Ball, and he's doing a little reach-touch thing. LaMelo Ball starts to drive, and all of a sudden, his wheels blow out. He just falls to the ground. He literally just falls to the ground, and referees whistle Giannis for a call. Why? I have no idea. He literally didn't touch him at that point. And LaMelo Ball, money from the line, goes and hits both. He was 11-11 from the line that night. And that's it. That's the game. So those, I got everybody wondering. Number one, was he fouled? So we all watched the replay. Eric Collins, Hornets play-by-play guy, as he's watching the replay, said, LaMelo tripped on his own Pumas. Yeah, that's what happened. He literally fell down. The other question, why didn't Doc challenge? Couldn't. He used one, he won one. And then the next one, just a couple minutes later, he used again, lost that one. So he didn't have one to use. This is 2 games in a row where the Bucks kind of had bad things go their way. Giannis, in the previous one against the Detroit Pistons, didn't foul Ron Holland, was called for it. Didn't foul LaMelo in this instance, was called for it. And so, it worked out for the Bucks in that previous game against Pistons, but in this one, it was just a bad ending to watch this thing at all.
Giannis did have a shot, too, I guess, at the end.
Yeah.
A jumper that he missed.
He did.
They backed up. I think it was Grant Williams. Wisely backed up. Just don't let him, go by you and dunk on you. So,
mid-range.
Just
he
took
missed.
the jumper and he missed. Doc Rivers went nuts after the game, too. Got fined $25,000 by the NBA on Sunday for his comments, about the officiating. Because he, not only talked about that play, that they blew the call, he also talked about the Pistons one. And then he was like, Giannis goes to the net and gets hit by 3 guys every time, and they never call a thing. So it's sort of ironic that Giannis is the one being called for these ticky-tack fouls that are incorrect. And the officials admitted that they were wrong.
Yeah, there's no tack in that one. There really wasn't any ticky or tacky. I mean,
No.
The referee who was watching it, he couldn't have seen any contact because he was seeing it through LaMelo Ball. Through Giannis. He couldn't have seen the contact. There was nothing there anyway. Mm-hmm. There wasn't anything. So he just saw a guy fall, and he said, okay, I'm going to blow the whistle. Unfortunately, wrong call.
Yeah, and the Bucks have put themselves in a hole here that they need these type of wins to sort of get themselves out of it. I know they're in the East and they'll be fine, but that's a big, it's sort of a big loss when you look at their schedule. And these are the games that they should win and come out with, and they just avoided, the Pistons game, got a little lucky, and then this one, nope.
Yeah.
Or wait, did they lose that Pistons game in the end?
No,
they won that one.
They beat the Pistons in overtime. But their wins this season are against the Pistons, the Raptors, the Jazz, and the 76ers opening night without Paul George and Embiid. They lost this one against the Hornets, a team that they should beat, and they lost it by 1. They have no margin for error right now, as you're seeing with these super close games against teams that they shouldn't necessarily be competitive with. But man, what a busy weekend for the NBA communications department.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said, Doc got fined.
Yep.
LaMelo got fined for this one as well.
$100,000
for his post-game press conference. Anthony Edwards got fined right?
Yes, he did for a
giving
gesture.
the finger.
Yep.
Middle finger. Yeah.
And
Giannis never got fined for the big
no, they
dog
said
dance.
that's okay. That's okay. Let the snake dance. They said.
It was questionable.
They didn't say that.
Let the snake dance.
They told us Jayson Tatum traveled on his game winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a full moon? Like, what's going on?
It was
here?
a full moon.
It was, right?
Yeah,
See,
it was-
weird
it was
stuff.
Weird stuff.
Joe Dumars howling at the moon with all of this communications. All right. One more loser here. According to Shams, the NBA is in serious discussions on a new tournament-style format for the 2025 All-Star Game, consisting of 3 All-Star teams of 8 players each, and then the winner of the Rising Stars game. So I guess the 4 teams will face off against each other in matchups, like Team 1 versus Team 3, Team 2 versus Team 4, and then the winners move on to the final round of the tournament, similar to what they did in the Rising Stars, where they did a little tournament. I call this a loser because, in my opinion, now we're just going to have 3 shitty games instead of 1. Like, I get the concept, shorter games, maybe keep things closer. Maybe there's a little competitive juice with you don't want to lose to the Rising Stars team. I don't know, but I don't think we're fixing anything with this. It's still down to the players whether they give a damn. And now we just have these, like, shorter games that are going to be maybe just as shitty. I don't know. Maybe you seem higher on, like, some of this talking out things here from Silver and the All-Star ideas, but
I ain't
what's your
lower.
opinion?
I don't think it can get worse. I think
You said that last year. We said that last year.
No, I mean if you
It
don't
could get
change
lower.
it. No, if you don't change it. Okay, guys played basketball and they hit threes. I mean, yes. I mean, we've seen it before. We've seen it before where guys just don't play defense. That's what it comes down to.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is
What does this
is
fix
different.
then?
Well,
Nothing.
You try it out. I don't see what's
Yeah.
wrong with trying it out. We brought up a tournament idea, whether it's starters on one side versus bench players or that kind of thing. It's going to be 4. Essentially, it's way shorter. It's 4 quarters, anyways. We don't need to get into it because it's really just a quick tournament of guys playing, hopefully with a little bit more heart.
Well, that's I guess my point. It doesn't matter what the format is. In the end, it just comes down to whether some of the guys take it somewhat seriously for a
so
little
don't
bit
you
of the
think
game.
that guys will take it more seriously if they're playing until 50 points or whatever it is and the game is over, like they have somewhat in the Rising Stars challenge?
I guess.
Well, don't watch Sunday.
guess.
I mean,
no,
just
I
don't
know
watch
that's
Sunday.
why they beat me, Tass. They defeated me. I'm a simp for All-Star Weekend, and they beat me. I can't believe it. They lost me, of all guys. I was one of the last people loving the All-Star Weekend. People have moved on, rightfully so. Now, why
You'll be
even
back.
watch it?
You'll be back.
Oh,
You
I
didn't
don't
think
know,
you'd
man.
watch Tyson, Jake Paul, but you're gonna watch it.
Well, regret that. If you're comparing an All-Star Weekend to that, then we're in deep trouble.
Well, they just don't want to go the way of the NFL quite yet, which is play frisbee or whatever.
Well, they're going the way of
dodgeball.
the NHL. I think the NHL does this. Implement these little games now. So, TK, you got a thought on this?
I wish we were still in the meme era where somebody would put exhibit in an image and said, "Yo, dog, we heard you like All-Star games, so we put 3 All-Star games in your All-Star game."
Nice.
That's what it is.
Good meme.
That's what it is.
Yeah, those memes have fallen by the wayside. Impact font.
Yeah.
At an all-time low in the 2000s. Unfortunately, Skeets, you're right. If the players care about it, it'll work. It worked the first year they did the Elam ending.
Yes.
Right? The first year they switched. Here's something new. Maybe it'll work. They went back to whatever last year and they scored 200 points. They did not care.
No,
Are we getting a draft again? They're going back to the draft? How are they going to pick these teams?
Yeah, how are we going to divide the 24 All-Stars into the 3 teams? Great
Nice.
point. Yeah, how's the draft? And then I guess, the Rising Star. Well, are the Rising Stars still going to do tournament too? And then the winner of that tournament has to play the next night?
A lot of tournaments.
Yeah.
We heard you like tournament. Tournament in your tournament.
Yeah, man.
That'll be a competitive one. Whoever the Rising Stars play in the first round against the All-Stars, that'll be it. That'll be a big game.
Yeah, hopefully.
You don't want to lose against those 21-year-olds. Come on, man. That's embarrassing.
That's right. Everybody will be back. Everybody will be back and saying, "Whoa, those guys are playing hard."
And I will be
Okay.
back watching it from home.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of going to the All-Star game again last year.
Yeah.
I said 2 years ago I'm never going to another one of these. Then they went back to East and West. I was like, "Oh, you got me, suckers." Went back, worse.
Yeah.
So I will watch it from home. I'm flying home Sunday.
You will not be in attendance.
I will not.
Wow.
Hold me to
We've
it.
lost him. We lost this sicko. I think I'm disappointed in maybe the concept here or the new format is like not all that refreshing. I think they should, like we talked about, they should really lean into being super entertaining, whether it's like a rock and jock style game or, hey, you can only take 30 3-pointers in the game, like whatever. Like really lean into like trying to fix just an exhibition game. And I don't know. I roll my eyes at this as the solution. But I mean, now we're just like, hey, Steph Curry, save us. It's like down to Steph Curry at this point. He's got to get the guys to play hard in his own arena for a little bit. I'm like being dead serious. Like it's like Steph has
Dumars
to get.
couldn't do it. Larry Bird couldn't do it. Chris Paul couldn't do it. Steph, can you save us? You did it in the Olympics.
That's right.
He is a national hero.
Curry's got to save the All-Star game.
I hope he runs for president in 2028.
Save us there.
Yeah.
Save us everywhere. All right, so those are some NBA weekend losers. Maybe you disagree with the one I just gave you there with the All-Star game. Maybe you're more of a fan of this tournament idea. Let us know in the comments. Okay, pick 'em game tonight, Tass. Tons of games on. I think there's 8. Where are we going?
We're going to Phoenix, where they've lost 3 in a row, and they get Orlando coming to town. Orlando's the 2.5-point favorite, so Phoenix, if you want to pick them, they just got to lose by 2, or obviously go out and win that thing. So we got a couple people on the Phoenix bandwagon. Trey and Esh feel like, the Suns can just make that 3-game losing streak go away, or they can lose by 2 and be all right, either one. So yeah, Trey and Esh, they got Phoenix. Skeets and I have the Orlando Magic.
Okay, should be a good game. Suns in a back-to-back for sure, but I guess the Magic didn't look all that good last time they were on the road when they lost Paolo.
They've lost several games in a row on the road.
Obviously, came back, bounced back at home and stuff like that. But yeah, we will see. All right, Magic got to win by 3 or more for Tass and I, and then obviously the opposite for Trey and Esh. Good luck, gentlemen. Got a nice battle going on here in the month of November with big-ass pie on the line. So I said 8 games on tonight. We're going to jump on playback once again. It's sort of a Monday night staple now. Around 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll get on there. That link is in the show notes, so you can come join the watch party with us. And, what do we got? We got Bulls Pistons at 7, Sixers Heat 7:30, Wizards Knicks 7:30, Pacers Raptors 7:30, and Rockets Bucks at 8. So if we go on live around 9, we'll be watching a lot of the second half and fourth quarter action of those games, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be some good endings. And you got the GOAT, Red Panda, here in the thumbnail you made.
I did, yes.
I appreciate this. So you still...
She's fallen off, unfortunately. Yeah, struggling.
I thought if you weren't a fan of All-Star games anymore, you wouldn't be a fan of Red Panda anymore.
I was calling Red Panda washed like 10 years ago on this show. We got a lot of blowback for that.
She came back.
She did. That's right. I was right at the time. Because she was dropping bowls left and right. It wasn't being talked about enough. But then she bounced back. She had a nice little run again. But yeah, now it's starting to slip again.
You do it.
I know. That's it. That's exactly right. Well, I just want to know is there a mini Red Panda like in the pipeline? Is there another one coming up?
Another panda.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, look, we've got the old guy balancer, right? Like the amazing Sladek. Is that his name?
Something
right?
like that.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
There is a young balancer out there now too. Like right, we got like an under 10-year-old balancing kid.
Yeah.
They put him on that board with a wheel under, and he's like back and forth.
I saw it too.
In another 50 years, he'll be standing on a chair, scaring everybody to death.
Yeah, you said the Red Panda slipped a little bit, fell off a little bit. She hasn't fallen off the unicycle, that's for sure. She's still all right. She's doing okay. I saw yesterday a pure magician show in Oklahoma City. Magician with his assistant in a box. Standards.
Throwback.
Standards.
Not
stuff.
quick change. Like
No.
just straight magic.
A guy who didn't stop smiling, like literally 15 minutes of smiling. I thought that was the amazing feat. I mean,
Just a guy comes out and smiles for 15 minutes.
That was pretty impressive. That was the most impressive part to me. Anyways, I didn't think I'd see another. Yeah, as you said, it's an old school magician. Here we go. I didn't think that we'd see that at halftime.
All right.
Just give me Grisham and Scoob.
Yeah, that's right. Well, are they the best?
I think
they're
so.
one of the best, top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of halftime acts, Simon Says gets a big pop from the crowd all the time.
Yeah,
That's a good point. Yeah, they're
Frisbee
very good.
dog.
Frisbee dog. Frisbee dogs out there. It's a good setup. Let's know your favorite halftime act. And do you think Red Panda still has it? We'll see you on playback tonight. Otherwise, we'll see you here live from the Classic Factory at 10 a.m. Eastern. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thank you for joining us, and remember, the Raptors will have a close game tonight. They always do.
Brace the day, people.